Okay, so let me talk a bit about what we know about the metaverse and what we don't know. And then based on that, I'm going to ask both of you what you think the biggest impact of this is going to be on HR data and on HR. So let me tell you from a metaverse point of view. Okay, what we know, there's a lot of confusion, guys. It's when we talk about the metaverse, it's like asking people in the 1970s what the internet was going to be. At that point in time, they just knew the internet is going to connect computers. But exactly to what extent the internet would involve. I mean, if you really ask people in the 70s, and they would not have predicted Facebook and LinkedIn and this type of social media because it wasn't within them. So what the real impact of the metaverse is going to be in 10 years' time, we don't know. But there's a couple of things that we already know and a couple of things that we're iffy about. Okay. The first thing that we really do know is that the metaverse is built for social interaction. So what we've learned throughout COVID is that a lot of our technology, let's take this type of technology even now, C-Meeting, Zoom, MS Teams, okay, there's the mechanics of human interaction is happening, but because we can't see each other's body language, we're not in the same room, there's a lot of the socialization that happens around meetings that just doesn't happen. Okay, within a metaverse, if you have people joining a meeting early where they can just have a chat without just non-business meeting, yeah, then they sit around, you can see if they are engaged or not, and when they leave, people can hang around and still build. So all of the time is social interaction. In Decentraland, in Facebook's Meta, and all of these things, it's about social interaction. It's about allowing people to interact socially, because our technology up until this point didn't allow that. HR tech is a very good example. I always say that. HR tech, let's take SAP or Workday or SuccessFactors, all of them. They're really good with the mechanics of HR, ticking the boxes. But engagement or social interaction, they suck. They're really, really bad in providing that engagement and promoting social interaction between human beings. Okay, so the mechanics happening, and this is what we saw in COVID. That big flaw within HR tech was exposed within COVID, and that's why metaverses are rising and so-called metaverses allow for this social interaction. That is what we know. Okay, the second thing that we know is that the metaverse is trying to replicate real life experience as much as possible. Okay, so when you look at all the metaverses out there, and even the HR metaverses that we're busy building with clients, it's about replicating. Let's look about onboarding. It's trying to replicate if I had a real in-life onboarding, going into the office, meeting people, interacting with fellow onboardees, that's the same in my cohort, meeting the CEO, doing all my administration, that entire process gets replicated within a metaverse as much as possible, so that, and as Andrew said, whether you are in Johannesburg or Lagos or Nairobi or Sydney, you can at last give everybody the same welcoming, engaging onboarding experience previously couldn't do. But the main thing is it tries to replicate that. The last that we do know, and before I go to the stuff that we don't know, is that metaverses are built for a specific purpose. All metaverses are not just a 3D gimmick where it's just a 3D room and people can do whatever they want. Even Decentraland is like almost a Facebook type, so not the e-commerce type, where people socialize together and you can invite them to their house and they can have parties in your house, for example, but it's built around socialization. Meta is going to be built around working. It's going to allow you to have meetings within the metaverse, to have a shop within the metaverse where people can buy your things. So it's a specific purpose. If it's a HR metaverse, it's the purpose of onboarding, learning, performance management. Otherwise, it's just going to be a gimmick. So that's what we've seen. Things that we don't know yet, and I think this is just as important, there's things that we don't know. The first thing is the whole thing regarding VR. That's a question we always get, okay? Are we all going to run around with VR goggles to be in the metaverse? Okay. Now, in the short term, the answer is definitely no, because like I said, your your proper VR goggles like your HTC Hive or your so forth, they're 20 to 30K a pop. Okay, so it's going to be too expensive. However, what if there's going to be a major technological breakthrough in 5 years' time where the cost of proper VR goggles with audio and everything drops to $700 a goggle? Okay. What is that impact going to have on the metaverse experience? So we don't know yet. We know people are pushing for full VR, but what impact VR is going to have on the metaverse, we think it might, but we just don't know. The second thing that we don't know is, are we going to have a metaverse or a multiverse? What I mean by that is, are we going to go in 20 years have one big environment, like one where everybody is in one environment, and that's a virtual reality environment? Or will Facebook have a metaverse, Google have their metaverse, Nike has a metaverse, Capitec has got a metaverse, Edgar's got a metaverse, and it's all different metaverses that in some form start linking. So you can walk from one metaverse to another metaverse, for example, but it becomes a multiverse. It's not one metaverse, it's a multiverse of various metaverses. We still don't know how that integration is going to work, because we don't know which one of the scenarios are going to play in. We know there's going to be 3D worlds in future. We're already building it now. But how they will integrate, that we don't know yet. The blockchain technology, from an HR point, I'm not going to go too much in that. Next month and the month after, we're going to talk about banking and retail in the metaverse. That's a bit more applicable. But what is the impact of blockchain, other cryptocurrency, NFTs are going to have? And the last thing that we don't know is just how strong the link between the metaverse and real life would be.